is ESPN Radio 102.7 at 1450 WWKU Plum Springs and W247BQ Bowling Green. ESPN Radio 102.7.
It's time for Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN 102.7 FM. Brought to you by Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling and Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center with your host Brian Webb. Also starring John Kirby and Sergeant J.D. Williams from Mohawk Outdoors, Josh Honeycutt from Realtree Outdoors. Also made possible by the Van Store Bowling Green in Glasgow, your Can-Am headquarters. Our national sponsor, Big & J Long Range Attractants. Segments in part by Rockcastle Shooting Center, The Rock, and Renegade Marine, featuring Realtree's Michael Pendley Timber 2 Table Wild Game Recipes. Made possible by Outback Steakhouse, Bowling Green. And all phone interviews via the Linex of Bowling Green hotline. Get ready for all things outdoors. Here's your host, Brian Webb.
Hey, folks. Wednesday night, still trying to get used to it. Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN 102.7. Up in Glasgow, you're catching us on 12:30 a.m. Appreciate your ears. I hear Barron's much, much better. And John will enlighten us a little bit on that here in a minute. Got a great fishing report coming out of Renegade Marine, our sponsor tonight. John Newton's going to be on. Then after that, of course, we start with Pendley, Michael Pendley, that is. Timber to Table, got a great little dish I saw today on Facebook and shared it. We're going to find out a little bit about that. He's so good, John, about not wasting any of his harvest. You know what I mean? And he just really gets every bit of it out of it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of knowledge for hunters out there that want to get better at cooking their game. And one great aspect of Michael Pendley is that he uses so much of the animal, nothing left to waste, nothing left behind. Really good about that.
The way it was meant to be, wasn't it, Honeycutt? I mean, you want to make sure you. Hey, let's give Josh a mic here.
You might need that.
Sorry, buddy.
Hey, it's not that important.
Yeah, it is. You guys are Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors. I tell you, JD out tonight. He's been in Beantown, hanging out with the guy who took down one Osama bin Laden. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Rob O'Neill is the gentleman's name, Navy SEAL. Pretty incredible story. I know he's kind of touring the world since that happened, telling his story, and it's pretty remarkable. And it's pretty neat listening to him tell that story because it could have been any one of his teammates on SEAL Team 6. And he talks about how lucky he was just to be that guy when it all unfolded.
Say that. Wasn't there a little bit of controversy? Like some other guy tried to take a little credit and then they had to figure it out? Or
Yeah, I hate to delve into all that because
no, we won't,
it's just speculation on our part, really. And yeah, there was some controversy, and I think some of that comes from the fact that he was even talking about it because, as you know, Navy SEALs kind of they're the silent operators, and I guess traditionally not supposed to talk about their missions and stuff. But I personally, of course, my opinion on that doesn't matter. I think it's great that he's talking about it because American people want to know. It's something that affected us all, right?
I want to know.
Right.
Don't you, Josh? Don't you want to know?
Sure.
I mean, I think there's probably a point where you probably shouldn't hear much,
right?
But there is a lot of things I think they could shed a little light on for us, the American people. I mean, we're in this thing too. We're all in it together. Outback Steakhouse, Scottsville Road, Bowling Green. You blokes, you Sheilas, get over there and eat dinner with John Kirby's mom. She's probably there, but she's I don't know. Does she know about the delivery? Have you told Janet about the delivery?
I haven't. If I had to go out on a limb, Webb, I'd say she knows.
She already?
I'd say she knows.
Yeah.
I'd say they probably don't make it all the way out to Woodburn, though.
Well, they got the cutoff, and they will meet you there, so that's, it saves you at least half the drive, no matter where you're at, kind of in Warren County, really. I've got the map. I've seen the map. We can put the map out, but right now you can get over there and eat it. I like dining in-house myself. I mean, I just think Outback's an experience. Don't you, G, man? I like Outback, man. It's the best. First of all, their salads are unstoppable.
Give me a kangaroo burger.
Yeah, he likes the kangaroo burger there. What do you get, John?
I like that Outback special, the
that's what
and they always have a special going on where you could, I think you can get like a 6-ounce Outback special and a lobster tail for under $20, which you can't do that anymore.
Lobster tail. What do you like over there, Josh? You don't eat meat. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm a vegan.
You're vegan.
I'm vegan. I'm secondhand vegan.
Oh yeah,
I eat the stuff that eats the vegan.
You're vegan by proxy. That's what I am. I'm like, I'll watch you eat that, but I'm gonna eat something that's got red meat.
No, I'm secondhand vegan because I eat deer and they are vegan.
Okay, I'm following.
Man, I should have been stepping in what you
Man,
were putting down.
You got to get up. You got to be on your toes now.
Today, man. I was like, first of all, my air conditioners are out in my car,
slow.
which is great. So I've been wringing my
Perfect
undershirts
timing.
out. Been wringing my undershirts out, John, every day. Get over there, Outback. We don't want to keep him waiting. He's on the Linex hotline, Linex Bedliners. Roger, Gina, Louisville Road, Porter, Pike. They will take care of your truck. John's got a nice looking bedliner in his truck, and we'll get Josh one. He's gonna get him. He's gonna get him one of these days. But Penley, are you with us?
I am. Hey guys.
Did you almost pass out waiting for me to stop talking? So we.
No, but you've got to get that air conditioner fixed.
I know, man. I listen. If you're gonna ride around with me, that'll be priority one.
Brian, we've learned not to hold our breath when it comes to you and you're talking.
We'd have to give you CPR every show.
You've never been accused of having good timing, so that air conditioner going out right when the heat of the summer is coming, just
great prelude. If your home air conditioner is going out, BG Refrigeration. Have you heard that new BG Refrigeration commercial? I think we'll fire it up tonight. It's pretty good. Folks, we're going to have a great show. Penley, listen, buddy, I saw your post today. That looks kind of south of the border-ish, like a burrito. I don't know. It looks good, though.
It is. We're talking turkey legs and turkey thighs this week. Hopefully everybody kept theirs from season. And hopefully everybody's got a freezer full of them right now. So we're cooking up a few, and we use them this week to make slow cooker enchiladas. And the slow cooker is a perfect way to cook the thighs and the legs of the turkey. You know, everybody says, well, you know, they're too tough and they've got too much connective tissue and all that. But if you'll throw them in the slow cooker and cook them all day, that meat just falls off the bone. So what we do for these enchiladas is we put the leg and thighs from a single bird, you know, 2 thighs, 2 legs in a slow cooker. We pour over a couple cans of enchilada sauce, add some chopped onions, some green chili peppers, a little cumin, you know, a few other Mexican-style spices. And we just let that cook all day, you know, 6-7 hours. When you get in the afternoon and you take the lid off of it, the meat just falls from the bone. So we use a big spoon and scoop those out onto a platter and reserve a little bit of that sauce that's cooked all day with the turkey. And we take a couple of forks and just shred that up just like you would pork barbecue. You know, once it cooks to that point, it just shreds, falls completely off the bone. You can pick the bones out. You can pick those little feather bones that are inside the turkey legs. They fall right out. So all you're left with is meat. Put that back in the slow cooker, add some black beans, let it cook for a little bit longer, usually another hour or so. And then we take some just regular flour tortillas. We'll put a little bit of that sauce that we reserved in the bottom of an oven-safe dish. And we'll take some tortillas. We'll stuff them full of that turkey meat mixture with some black beans in it. And then we'll pour the rest of that sauce over the top of it, put on a bunch of cheese, and bake it just until the cheese melts. And if you do, you know, the slow cooker part, you can have everything else done 30 minutes when you get home in the evening. So it's a good way to have a meal ready to go when you get there. But I challenge anybody to taste a enchilada made from turkey legs and tell me they don't like turkey legs after that. So.
Sold.
Are we talking slow cooker, Michael? Or excuse me, crock pot when you say slow cooker?
Yeah,
slow
crock
cooker?
pot's just a brand name. The same deal. Slow cooker, you know, turn it on high, low. Usually they've got 2 settings. Sometimes they'll have a 3. We use the one from Weston brand. They've got an actual slow cooker in Realtree, and I use it all the time. So it's perfect for cooking up stuff like that.
Like you said, that's something you can throw those turkey legs in there in the morning, and they'll be ready when you get home from work.
Yeah, you know, just let them cook all day while you're going at work or out doing something, fishing, whatever. And when you get in the evening, they're ready to go. You can just take them off the bone. And, you know, it doesn't take 10 minutes to shred them off the bone at that point. And then you can do whatever you want with the meat. Like I say, we use them a lot of times in burritos. We make barbecue out of it. But this particular one was enchiladas.
You could probably would any kind of wild game cut of meat that's on the tougher side probably be good in that recipe, wouldn't it?
You can, yeah. We use venison a lot. You know that little football roast on the back of your venison ham?
Yep.
It's a little bit on the tough side sometimes, and we'll throw one of those in the slow cooker and let it cook all day, and do the same recipe with it, or we'll use it in sandwiches. After it cooks all day like that, it just shreds apart, just falls right apart. So it's not tough anymore after that.
Man, I bet your grilled cheeses are even spectacular.
I'm a big grilled cheese fan.
I like them.
I really am.
I bet there's more to Michael Penley's. I bet there's more to Michael Penley's than just bread.
Yeah,
and
it's not.
I'd say it's
not your run of the mill.
Probably got some bacon and
everything
else on it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say the cheese. What's your go-to cheese? You like feta? I like feta.
I use a lot of feta cheese. I do. I use a lot of blue cheese in recipes.
I like blue cheese,
especially
too.
with pork. I'm a big fan of sweet sauce on pork with some crumbly, real tangy blue cheese. I like that a lot.
I mean, is that a thing? I mean, do some cheeses or things? Do some things go together better than others? I mean, do they?
Oh, absolutely. Cheese is kind of like wine. It runs the gamut from some real sharp cheeses, some real funky cheeses. Some of them are just extremely mild, like mozzarella. Mozzarella doesn't have a whole lot of cheese flavor compared to some others. So, different cheeses fit different recipes, and you can pair sweet sauces with tangy cheeses, and vice versa. You can put a mild cheese on a spicy recipe and kind of tone it down a little bit. Of course, cheddar goes with everything. So, cheese, you can definitely pair different cheeses with different recipes.
Brian, we all know your favorite cheese is Chuck E. Cheese.
It's funny you say that. I showed up late for a Little League game one time because I went to this sports camp at Western, and it was like I didn't want to miss either one of them, so we somehow figured out how to do both. But we were leaving Chuck E. Cheese, and I got there late, and I was supposed to pitch, and they took me off the mound because I was there late, and they called me Chuck E. Cheese the rest of the year.
Hey, Chuck E. Cheese is a dang good time, y'all.
But they called me Chunky Cheese, so I don't know if that was a play on words because I had a little bit of had a little belly there when I was a younger guy. Hey, come on now. What's your favorite cheese, Josh? I want to know more about you. You're mysterious.
I'm a pimento cheese kind of guy.
Pimento, it doesn't count. Hey, is there ever a chance to where Limburger comes into play? Because I just don't see where it fits anywhere.
Nah.
Man, it's a little funky even for me, and I like funky cheese, but Limburger, it smells a little bit too much like sweaty socks.
Yeah, it does.
What about beer cheese? I love beer cheese.
I haven't had it.
Some good beer cheese.
I'm a big fan of beer cheese, yeah.
I haven't had that.
And speaking of combos, I think the best combo ever invented is I love spicy food. So really spicy with a hint of sweet. I love the hot and sweet flavors together.
That sounds
that's a classic match.
That sounds like the ribs at Outback, Penley, and you can call and get delivered 746. We all know you got to dial 270, but 746-0409 Outback Steakhouse delivery. Penley, I wish you'd come down. All of us we'll get JD. We'll all go to Outback, man. How's that sound?
Yeah, it sounds like a plan.
We need to find a stayover night. That's what we need. Sleepover. Back when you were kids, that was my favorite.
I'm gonna bow out of that.
You're not doing sleepover? Come on, man. You'd love it.
Hey, I'd snuggle.
You wouldn't want to leave.
Snuggle for some of Penley's food.
I'm definitely gonna bow out of that now.
Speaking of snuggling, John and I were down in Memphis one time, and I wake up, and literally he's standing there, bloodshot eyes with a pillow, getting ready to suffocate me, Penley. I swear to God he was.
That's a true story. His snoring is out of control. And about 4 a.m, I was like, man, I got to put an end to this. I wasn't going to suffocate you. I was just going to lay a couple pillows over your head.
Hey, my snoring's so bad, my CPAP turned in its 2-week notice. Oh, Penley, you got anything hunting here? We got 2 or 3 minutes left. You just want to jaw about it? I know you had a good time. I see that Pot Roast is out there knocking down some squirrels.
Yeah, he's working this summer a little bit, so it's kind of cutting into squirrel hunting time, but he's getting out a little bit. And I don't know, I think he killed 4 or 5 last weekend total. killed a big, massive fox squirrel last weekend, one of the bigger ones I've seen in a while.
Pot roast pretty much just keeps the conservation organizations in business.
Yeah, he does.
He does, and he's excited now because frog gigging season is in. So.
Oh, it's always a good time.
Yep.
Yeah, I won't even tell you some frog gigging stories. We can't. So we have to say those on an NC-17 podcast. I love it though. That's one of my favorite things to do, Penley, is go gigging, man.
Me too.
So much fun. That's a great thing for buddies to do too. And snipe hunting. I love snipe hunting. John took me one.
There'll be an NWFF by the end of frog
season. Yeah, that's probably true. Penley, appreciate you, man. You can follow Michael Penley on Twitter at Mickey Penn 70. Penley Mickey Penn Eats on Instagram. I love your Instagram page, man. You just started that thing and it's already getting some. It's traveling well, Penley.
Yep, it's growing every day. So
I just can't understand how you're so good at the artistic part of it and the cooking part. Johnny puts it down. It looks like something at Four Seasons, dude. It's in bring out. I mean, it really looks like a 4-star, 5-star restaurant, dude. It amazes me how you do that because you're a big old burly tough guy, and you make it look. I mean, I can't even, like we're talking grilled cheese. I mean, I can't even get bean and bacon soup in the bowl without getting it all over everything. I mean, you got it looking like it's coming out of a fine dining restaurant.
We use a lot of paper towels.
I was gonna say, is that the trick? Just cleaning it up?
Bounty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to do a lot of cleanup before you take the pictures. So.
The quicker picker-upper. I got it. Well, buddy, we appreciate you as always. We appreciate Outback, and we appreciate Timber to Table and Realtree, buddy. You have a good one, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Have a good one, guys.
All right,
Michael.
Thank you.
You heard it right there. Michael Penley, Timber to Table. Seriously, check him out online. You can go to realtreeoutdoors.com. And check him and Josh out. Josh, some great posts and blogs on there. Just about anything you can imagine. You'll hear a lot of it here on the show every week. But we're going to come back real quick. We're going to come back with Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center. We got John Newton on. He's going to talk about some great deals up there on some boats. Great time of year, John, to get up there and get a boat, right?
Always a good time of the year to buy a boat.
Always a good time of the year.
Yep.
As long as your wife doesn't know about it until after you signed up. And then,
then it's too late. You ask for
permission. Late, so
you ask for forgiveness.
That's right. Amen to that. We'll be right back. Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors, ESPN 1027.
Is your yard the envy of the neighborhood? Or could you use a little help? Simplicity has the help you need with their popular Conquest Yard and Prestige garden tractors. Their free-floating mower deck and full-width rollers deliver a smooth, even cut and a beautifully striped effect just like the ballpark. Stop by the Vance store in Bowling Green and Glasgow today and test drive a Prestige or Conquest tractor from Simplicity. Simplicity, the way to a beautiful lawn.
Years ago, to get food from the Outback, you'd have to go out and hunt it yourself. But now the Outback comes to you. Outback Steakhouse in Bowling Green now delivers all your Aussie faves from bloomin' onions to signature sirloins to work at home. What could be better after a day of hard yakking? Just click or tap over to Outback.com, select delivery, put in your address, choose your favorites, and we send it on over faster than a roo, and a lot less kicky too. Outback Steakhouse at Bowling Green, now delivering. Visit Outback.com to get started, or stop by anytime, 3260 Scottsville Road.
Although hunting to most of us is much more than just harvesting animals, why not better your deer herd's health with Big & J Long Range Attractant? Big & J is highly digestible, high in protein, and isn't full of preservatives. With Big & J Long Range Attractants, you're not only exploiting one of the few weaknesses whitetails have, their stomachs, but you're maximizing antler growth, improving overall herd health, and pulling deer from your neighbor's property. So whether your goals are to fill the freezer, kill mature bucks, or both, Big & J Long Range Attractants will stack the odds in your favor, all the while making your deer herd bigger and healthier.
Man, what happened to your truck? Well, got myself a prize 10-point buck, and well, you can see where it was laying.
Nice bloodstain, dude. You should have seen Linex of Bowling Green for a spray-in liner.
For whatever you get into, trust Linex of Bowling Green with the largest auto aftermarket franchise in the nation. Pro installation of spray and bed liners, B&W gooseneck hitches, vent visors, bug shields, step bars, running boards, toolboxes, and WeatherTech floor mats. Linex at BowlingGreen.com. Stop by 3351 Louisville Road at the Porter Pike and Plum Spring intersection.
Health starts at home. That's why Northern Kentucky University offers degrees for high-demand health fields for this region, like nursing, radiology, and health communication. NKU transforms how tomorrow's healthcare professionals train with state-of-the-art technology in an ever-evolving learning center. Whether you serve your community or serve the world, the choice to follow that passion starts at home. Find out how NKU changes healthcare at nku.com/health. Northern Kentucky University. Burn bright.
Rock the Boat 2019 with Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency at Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center. If boat dealerships were candidates, Renegade Marine's platform would sound like this. You deserve family time on a Regency. You have the right to a Nitro bass boat. Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center wants to see you on the water with a smile and a Sun Tracker. That's not what your old boat needs for repair. Get a new pontoon with time to spare. Rock the Boat with Sun Tracker, Regency, and Nitro at Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center. 415 Commerce Drive in Litchfield. Online at renegademarine.net.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
It's time to go fishing with Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center, 415 Commerce Drive, Litchfield, Kentucky, on SOKY's Great Outdoors.
You heard it right there, folks. It's time for the Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center fishing segment, our 198th here on the show. Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors coming up on a 200 bicentennial. Looking forward to that. We'll probably have this guy back on. Got him on the Line X hotline. The El Commandor there, second in command, John Newton behind Sherb. What's going on, man, on the Line X hotline?
Not a whole lot, Brian, sitting here wondering how this holiday weekend's going to roll. We've got a lot of people in looking at new pontoons, used pontoons. Anybody out there looking for good deals on some good used Paul Bart style pontoons? We've got 2009 South Bay 722 CR, which is a cruise model with 115 horse four-stroke on it for $15,900. That boat will not be around here very long.
No.
And I've got a 2009 Manitou Encore 22-foot with a 115 Honda four-stroke on it. We've got that boat listed for $20,000. Differences between the prices on those two boats. Manitou's just a little bit pricier boat than what a South Bay is, but hey, I mean, we've got them all shapes, all sizes down here at Renegade. We've got some 25-foot Harris boats with 150 horsepower motor on it for $21,500. I've got another Harris 25-footer down here. It's an 07 model with a 200 Mercury four-stroke on it. It's $24,500. And so, I mean, I've got them all shapes and sizes.
Yeah. I mean, you got something for everybody there, sounds like, John. And that's the great thing about Renegade. You're not constricted to a tiny space up there. I mean, you guys have some acreage, and guess what? There's a boat on almost every daggone nook and cranny of it. And there's something there for everybody in your price range. And you know what? You've heard us talk about the interest rates and things like that. That's not something that Renegade or anybody can control. But you can control waiting around and getting in there before that keeps climbing. And you know, if you want to act now, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you know what? Look outside. It's time. Everybody's doing their thing. I was up there fishing a tournament last weekend, and I mean, there's campers everywhere. People, it's happening, man. It's here it's on top of us. So if you waited around, no more of that. Get up and see John Newton, Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center. John, first of all, No Lynn's looking good. I know you've been on it, and I don't know about Rough River. Maybe you can tell us. Barron's almost back to normal, but the bite's good up there. I know my dad went up there last Friday morning and caught a 5.5 and a 3.5 on the same point. So things are starting to cook up there at Barron. What are you hearing out there amongst the fishermen and fisherwomen?
Well, we actually had a tournament over Rough River this past weekend with the Renegade Series. And the bite was a little slow. They're still pulling the water pretty well over there. But, as of this morning, Rough River is 2.5 feet from being back to summer pool. So the lake is right where it needs to be at. Everybody is getting, like you said, getting primed up, getting ready for the holiday weekend. Fishing report, because the water was still up about 4.5, 5 feet while we were over there at Rough. A lot of the fish were still hanging around the front edge of that bushes there. A lot of us, like myself, I went fishing deep, figuring, well, they should be pulled out. Well, I didn't make the right call. But Bill Decker and Mark Godby congratulations to them on winning the tournament this past weekend. They went out and was able to catch, of course, we're on a 3-fish limit in the Renegade now, so they were able to go out and catch 3 solid fish. They had 11.02 to pull off the win.
Man.
And they, got to speak with Mark a little bit after the tournament, and Mark said if they would have been 5-fish tournament that day, they probably would have had 17 and a half, 18 pounds.
Wow, man! I tell you what, there's 2 good fishermen. One, I know real well fisherman. I don't know Mark that well, but Bill and I know each other. I mean, it seems like there's like 2 Bill Deckers. He can be in 2 places at one time. That guy's he's pretty amazing. But I tell you what. One heck of a quiet fisherman. You don't hear much out of Bill Decker, but I mean he is good at it, man. I grew up fishing against him as a kid, and he was always looked up to Bill, man. He was a good fisherman. Man, I tell you what, that's good stuff, John. And let's go back a little bit talking about some boats now. You got some bass boats up there, some trade-ins, I think, on the lot. To me, if a guy can't afford to get that new luxury boat or that new bass boat. And it's kind of like me, living on a budget. I mean, there's a boat up there for me, and that's what's great about it. Now, me talking the wife into purchasing it's another thing, but I know you got them up there, man. Anything standing out up there? You got an old Ranger? You got anything like that, Triton or something?
Well, I mean, I've got several Rangers up here. I've got several Nitro boats up here. Got a few Triton boats up here. Yeah. I mean, right now, thing for the buck buy right now, I've got a 18-foot Ranger. Z118, that boat, I'm hunting up some details on it.
I'm already on my way.
That one right there's got a 150 Yamaha on it. It's got 169 hours on the motor.
Nice.
The boat's a 2013.
Nice.
And, it's hanging there at that 27,000 mark. So, I mean, that would be a good starter boat for anybody.
Great boat.
High school or, even fishing in the college levels.
Great boat.
We're getting a lot of kids now coming in with moms and dads.
Yeah.
So my son's fishing high school.
Yeah.
I need a little bit bigger boat.
Yeah.
So, we've got, if you can't afford the new one or don't want to put out that kind of money for a new one, we have all kinds of good, reasonably used boats here where they're priced. I mean, I've got an 08 192 Pro Craft with a 200 horse on it for $12,500. That would make a great boat for someone, 19-footer. We just completely redone the carpet and put new seats in it.
Nice.
So, it's an 08 boat. It's going to have some battle scars.
Well, sure.
The boat was fished out of.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, for $12,500 with a solid motor on it that's only got 113 hours on it, it would make a great boat for someone.
I mean, the motor itself's almost worth that. So, I mean, that's what you're talking about. That's the kind of thing. And you know what I love about Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center? You go up there, you can look around, you can walk around that big property. There's boats everywhere. Anything you're looking for is there, and you can touch it, you can feel it. And you know what? Nobody jumps on you. Nobody jumps out of a pontoon and tackles you. I mean, you walk in, you see John or some of the other folks up there in the finance department, and you guys will talk them through it. And they can take you out and say, hey, this one's the one I liked, and you guys can go immediately in there. You don't have to wait around. You can get right on the phone. You can see what you got to work with, and that's the one great thing about a hands-on one-stop shop. And when it comes to anything marine, Renegade's the place to get her done, right, John?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on. We've got big city inventory, but we still got that down home country feel. When someone comes in the store, we're going to greet you with a nice hello. How you doing? If we can help you, just holler at us. We're not going to chase you around a lot.
And then you can pet Duke up there after you get one. Duke always sticks a paw out for you when you buy one up there. I love it. John, always a pleasure, man. We appreciate you guys. Another shout out for such a tremendous Fishing for Mentors 5 we had. I mean, I don't know, God blessed us, and you guys were main part of that thing. I mean, we couldn't have done it without you. And it's just one of those things to where a little hard work and you get to watch it pay off. 2 or 3 hours of kids with tears in their eyes and holding 6-pound catfish that are bigger than them. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. KOA, Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center, man. We could not have done that without you guys. We appreciate it so much.
Brian, we appreciate y'all. Y'all keep up the good work, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, man. Don't let one get off. Get up there to Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center. Get you a new one today. Right off the interstate there, the Parkway, Commerce Drive, Litchfield, Kentucky. Be right back. ESPN's Southern Kentucky.
Find your grilling success with a Napoleon Grill from Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill. You too can be the master of your own backyard barbecue with the Napoleon Prestige Series P500. Grill like a king with these amazing features: a complete stainless steel cooking system, a massive cooking area for massive parties, and it's proudly made right here in Kentucky, so you know the quality is amazing. Get your Napoleon P500 at Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill, just off the bridge on Old Louisville Road, bgfireplace.com.
Hey, it's Nick Noble with the Rock Castle Gun Show here. We're talking about Swagger bipods. Do you want just your average barrel rest, or do you want to shoot with some swagger? Introducing the Swagger bipods. They expand your shooting zone with Swagger, the all-terrain hunting bipod. After more than 100 years, finally shooters have a bipod with patented, flexible, hyper-extending, telescoping legs that give you the agility like never before. So get rid of stiff legs and get the bipod with infinite maneuverability. Swagger, the bipod that moves.
This is Nate from Rock Castle Shooting Center. Did you know that one of the premier shooting ranges in the world is right here in South Central Kentucky? Rock Castle Shooting Center has something for everyone's recreational shooting enjoyment. From 3D archery to our brand new sporting clays course, handgun ranges full of steel to targets out to a mile. There's no better place to get some trigger time than Rock Castle Shooting Center. Non-members are welcome, and memberships start at $150 per year. We offer a fantastic range of firearms training and education opportunities from the most basic to the most advanced. Come see us, exit 48 on I-65, Park City, Kentucky. Visit rockcastleshootingcenter.com.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to catch a bunch of these here fish this afternoon. And I'm pretty sure I won't be getting a call from the lady talking about the air conditioner because it done got her took care of.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, turn to the experts like I always do this time of year.
Right. Who's that?
Well, that'd be Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling. Yeah. Your comfort is their concern, is what they say. Oh, here comes one, boys.
Hold on, let me grab the net.
Earl, is that your phone ringing?
Yeah, it is. Here, take his net. What?
Earl, I need you to get home right now. I am burning up. This air conditioner's out. Get off that boat right now.
All right. Hey, sorry about that, man. The lady is hot. The air conditioner isn't working.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what's your unit? Is it a carrier?
No, it's not a carrier. It's one of them others.
Doesn't matter if it's a carrier or not. Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling can service it for you. No, looks like I got me another one on the line here now. Between holding this net for my fish and the people calling you about the air conditioner, you ain't even got the case.
Pickled okra. Schedule a pre-summer checkup on your HVAC unit today with Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling.
In football, baseball's got a few.
The hunting in East Beverly Hills getting sorry every day. Me and Duke went as far back in the brush as you could go. The only thing we flushed out was a couple of real estate agents.
It's time to do some hunting on SOKY's Great Outdoors, brought to you by Rock Castle Shooting Center at Park Mammoth Resort, 22850 Louisville Road in Park City, Kentucky.
Shoot the rock. Get up there. Park City, man. That's just a jewel, a diamond to have in our backyard, and nobody better than Nick and Nate Noble. They'll be coming up at 6. You'll be hearing from them here shortly. Stick around for the gun show. Guys, it's always a good time to talk hunting. I don't care what time of year it is, and we like to do it here on this show. We got two of the best, Josh Honeycutt, John Kirby right here. Guys, what's going on?
I just trying to be a couple pretenders, man.
Just waiting on that, waiting on early September, I know, is what I'm doing. And it's going by pretty slow. Kind of like waiting on Christmas. But we're going to talk about, Josh recently wrote an article.
Yeah, we're going to act like we know what we're talking about.
All about state record bucks and kind of the data that goes with that and where these bucks are coming from. And Josh, start us out, buddy.
Yeah, everybody likes to talk about big deer. Everybody doesn't. That's not what turns everybody's crank, and that's not what primarily turns mine. I like to eat venison. That's the primary reason I deer hunt. But I'm a good old boy that likes to shoot a big deer every now and then.
Absolutely. Like I know you're probably like me. You didn't get into deer hunting as a kid with the idea of just going out and shooting big deer all the time, did you? I mean, that was the last thing on my mind as a kid. What was on my mind was getting to spend time with my grandfather, other family members, getting to be outdoors, seeing deer, because frankly, back when I was a kid, just seeing a deer was an accomplishment, to be honest, in the areas that I hunted. Mm-hmm. So like you, Josh, I'm a big believer in that. I think sometimes hunting is too much is made about killing great big deer. And the fact is, if you don't hunt in an area that holds great big deer, I don't care how good of a hunter you are, you're not going to kill great big deer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If they're not there, you can't kill them.
Right.
So what we'll do is, we'll talk about some of the different state record bucks. This is kind of, I guess, geared. This isn't really focused on Kentucky, but it kind of is, because it kind of shows you where we stack up against other states, and where we are compared to others around the country. We'll talk about some of the state record bucks. We'll also talk about some of the stats that shows that helps paint a picture of where we kind of fall in that rank and that list. I guess we can kind of start with the Northeast, and again, this might be some good information for those out there who want to travel to hunt too, because not everybody in Kentucky hunts in Kentucky. Some people go out of state to hunt. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you can look at, but what do you want to talk about first, man?
Well, I don't know. I'll let you go into, and we'll start in the Northeast like you alluded to, Josh. But I do want to say too, real quick, some of these states that stack up really well in Boone and Crockett entries, and then obviously some of them that don't. I don't think that paints a complete picture in all regards. I don't think because maybe West Virginia doesn't stack up that well in the Southeast doesn't mean that it's not worth hunting, because there's localized pockets. We know that there's localized pockets of higher deer density. There's localized pockets of just really big deer in areas and not so big in other areas. So I think keep that in mind.
For sure. Yeah, there's places. I'm sure there are places in West Virginia or other not so known states, little pockets here and there that are better than places in Iowa.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
absolutely. Sure. So you want to start Northeast?
Yeah, the Northeast is a pretty cool place. What people don't really know and don't realize on a surface level before we actually talk about some of the specific bucks, it's funny when you think of the Northeast. The two states that are the best at producing big bucks on a per square mile basis aren't the states you think they are. It's Delaware and Maryland.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher there. Not what I would have guessed.
Yeah, for sure. In Maine, the state record typical isn't quite as big as a lot of other places. It's a 193 and 2/8 inch deer. Their state record non-typical is a 259 inches. And we won't hit every single one of these, but some of them that kind of stick out. New Jersey, not a great state for big deer. New Hampshire, not a really that good of a state for that. Again, it's the two big producers are Maryland and Delaware.
Yeah, and two, one other thing I'll say quickly is maybe you have family out of state, and you go out of state because of that reason, because you have access out of state. I think keeping in mind. I would take a lease, say, in West Virginia over maybe a lease that's 10 hours further away, but there's 10 times more Boone and Crockett entries. So you kind of have to put all that into perspective. How many times are you going to make it 15 hours out of the state to go hunt versus 5 hours? Something else to keep in mind. I know it's nice. Sure. It's intriguing to be able to hunt in an area with huge deer, but if you can only make it there once a year, how's that going to work out for you?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny that you say that, because it truly is an important part of that topic, because, if it's under 5 hours away, a lot of the times you can do that as a weekend trip.
Yep, a last-minute, spur-of-the-moment type thing sometimes.
Anything over that or much over that, you're pretty much going to have to plan it out a week at a time to be able to do it, make it happen, for sure. Looking at the Northeast, the top 5 states for record deer, and all of this data is based on a per square mile basis, number of entries per square mile, so it takes away that advantage that some of the bigger states have. It also eliminates the water factor too, so this is only based on the total square miles of land mass within these states, but the top states is Maryland, Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania. And I think that's actually changed. The top 2 states now are Maryland and Delaware, not Maryland and Connecticut. But that's something to think about. When you think about the Northeast, you automatically think about New York, Pennsylvania, Maine. You think about the bigger states. You don't think about these smaller states, which are actually producing more big deer on a per square mile basis.
Yeah. When I think Northeast, I think big woods deer. And anyway, you want to stay in the Northeast or move to another?
Let's jump to the Southeast, because that's what everybody really wants to hear.
Yeah.
when it comes to the Southeast, obviously, Kentucky is considered a southeastern state in most regards, even when deer hunting is the topic. Some people will loop Kentucky into the Midwest, but it's technically more of a southeast or a mid-south state than a Midwest state. But Kentucky is the clear and obvious winner when it comes to this region. Then you have Arkansas number 2, Mississippi number 3, West Virginia number 4, and then Virginia number 5. What I find interesting is Tennessee, the Tucker buck, that was killed a few years ago.
Yep.
It was the largest hunted harvested deer for I think 2 years until this last until it was that. And even though that's not technically the world record, there are 2 deer that were found that score bigger than the Tucker buck, and then obviously we had the Illinois deer killed this last fall, which is the new hunter harvested record deer. But again, to that point, Tennessee doesn't make the top 5.
Right. It's what was that in Gallatin or thereabouts? It wasn't that far.
It wasn't
from here.
that far from here. I don't know the exact town, but it wasn't far.
And I know I speak probably for a lot of people. When you think Tennessee, you don't think big bucks, but that's just a perfect example of those just localized pockets where it's just good genetics, good cover, lots of food. These deer are protected and they're getting some age on them, and big bucks can literally come from anywhere.
Yeah, and then if you're just looking at the top 5 typical whitetails in the last 10 years, there's not a southeastern state that makes that list except for Arkansas. There was 195 and 2/8 inch typical that was killed a few years ago, and again, Arkansas isn't a state that you necessarily think about for big deer, but it's number 2. For the total number of entries per square mile in the last 10 years, and it also has and this isn't just for the region, this is for the entire continent, Canada included. It has the number 5 typical for the last 10 years.
Wow.
Arkansas does.
That's hard to believe.
Arkansas is a great destination, especially the northern half and eastern halves of the state. And really even the western half. You get over there close to Oklahoma, and Arkansas is a pretty good place to go. Now, I personally probably would stay away from the northwestern corner because that's where most of the CWD is being found at right now in Arkansas. But it's a great place to go.
Yeah. Well, what else you got?
Looking at the Midwest, the top region or the top states in that region is Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Iowa, and Illinois. What's shocking to me is how little press Wisconsin gets, and how dominant it is compared to all the other states.
Yeah, well, we talked about that off air just a minute ago, and I said the same thing. I can't figure it out. You hear obviously Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky. That really is a sleeper state, and I can't figure out why. Because, like you said, it's a phenomenal whitetail state.
Yeah, there's some places in Wisconsin that's got tons and tons of press throughout the year. You think about Buffalo County. Buffalo County, Wisconsin is what some people refer to as deer capital of the world, and rightfully so. But by and large, you don't hear about a lot of non-residents traveling to Wisconsin to deer hunt, not like you do Iowa and Illinois and other states in the Midwest.
Yeah. What else you got in the Midwest, or you want to move?
That's something that's really shocking to me. Ohio's, even though Ohio is on the rise and has been for the last few years, it doesn't shock me quite as much as the other state that's on this list, and that's Indiana. You don't hear a lot about Indiana either.
Yeah.
You hear a ton about Kansas. You hear a ton, which that's a interesting point. Kansas probably, other than maybe Iowa, Kansas probably gets the most press in the Midwest. And it does not make the top 5 in the last 10 years for that region.
Wow.
But states like Ohio and Indiana are. So that shows how things change over time. When you look at just the data for the last 10 years versus the historical data, because if you look at the historical data and you include all entries, that list looks much different. So it is interesting when you look at that. But looking over to the last region, we talked about the Northwest, the Midwest, the Southeast. Whenever you look at the Western region, Texas, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, and Washington take the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 spots respectively. And again, some of these states that pop up aren't states that you typically think about.
Yeah, no doubt. And something else too. I'll try to make this short, but your relationships, I think, can skew you're what you perceive other states to be. Like I know a guy in Arkansas, and a great hunter, always complaining about the size of the deer. And so in my mind, you know how these relationships can kind of skew things. So when you said Arkansas was second in the Southeast, well, I would have bet all the amount of money in the world that Virginia would have beat Arkansas, because I know a guy in Virginia who's killing studs every year. Again, he's just in a localized area where there's some great deer. So I think the point there being, don't rely on what you hear all the time.
Absolutely.
Folks, you're listening to Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors. John Kirby there, Josh Honeycutt, Brian Webb here. Your host going to come right back and continue these discussions all the way up to the top of the hour, so don't miss out. Don't get out of your car. Don't turn off that dial. ESPN 102.7, SOKY's Outdoors, ESPN Radio 102.7.com.
This is a Morgan & Morgan consumer message.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When our clients come to us for representation, I see way more than a client. I see me. When I hear someone has a herniated disc or a back injury, I think, what if that was me? How would that impact my life? I put myself in your shoes and in your life. When I look at your family, I see my family. This outlook makes my firm think differently than most. I understand that some injuries are forever, and forever is a very long time. For 30 years, we've helped hundreds of thousands recover what they deserve. $1 billion last year alone. Every time we hear your stories, we feel like it's us. If you're injured in a car crash, slip and fall, or the victim of medical malpractice, call us because we care. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone. That's pound 529. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Offices Bowling Green.
In 1962, Becker & Green started Motel 6. They called it that because it was $6 per a night stay. Now you can spend $6 at the snack machine in the lobby. Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center was built to put you on the water with a smile. Just like the cost of hotel rooms is always on the rise, so is the price of financing. And you can't buy the same boat with the same credit score for the same interest rate as you could just a year ago. But you may be the type that doesn't even stay in a hotel room. You prefer the great outdoors with family time, camping, fishing, and boating. You've been thinking the last 3 seasons, hey, I need a new boat. Well, don't wait till next year. Now is the time to consider coming to Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center. If you're looking to get on the water in a new craft this season like a Sun Tracker, Regency, Nitro, Riata, Ranger, Triton, Avalon, or Bennington, then you're in good hands with Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center's finance department. Plus, while you're there, they have all accessories to make your family smile all summer long, like floats, apparel, fishing tackle, the best in fishing boats and party cruisers. Just off the Parkway in Litchfield, Kentucky, call 270-259-0001, online at renegademarine.net.
Although hunting to most of us is much more than just harvesting animals, why not better your deer herd's health with Big & J Long Range Attractant? Big & J is highly digestible, high in protein, and isn't full of preservatives. With Big & J Long Range Attractants, you're not only exploiting one of the few weaknesses whitetails have, their stomachs, but you're maximizing antler growth, improving overall herd health, and pulling deer from your neighbor's property. So whether your goals are to fill the freezer, kill mature bucks, or both, Big & J Long Range Attractants will stack the odds in your favor, all the while making your deer herd bigger and healthier.
Hey, it's Nick Noble with the Rockcastle Gun Show here. We're talking about Swagger bipods. Do you want just your average barrel rest, or do you want to shoot with some swagger? Introducing the Swagger bipods. They expand your shooting zone with Swagger, the all-terrain hunting bipod. After more than 100 years, finally shooters have a bipod with patented, flexible, hyper-extending telescopic legs that give you the agility like never before. So get rid of stiff legs and get the bipod with infinite maneuverability. Swagger, the bipod that moves.
This is Nate from Rock Castle Shooting Center. Did you know that one of the premier shooting ranges in the world is right here in South Central Kentucky? Rock Castle Shooting Center has something for everyone's recreational shooting enjoyment. From 3D archery to our brand new sporting clays course, handgun ranges full of steel to targets out to a mile. There's no better place to get some trigger time than Rock Castle Shooting Center. Non-members are welcome, and memberships start at $150 per year. We offer a fantastic range of firearms training and education opportunities from the most basic to the most advanced. Come see us, exit 48 on I-65, Park City, Kentucky. Visit rockcastleshootingcenter.com.
Mohawk Outdoors is a 501c3 organization. Our mission is to promote the healing of combat veterans suffering from their wounds of war by incorporating the great outdoors. We've personally seen how these efforts can leave a positive impact on veteran lives, so we strive to provide similar opportunities for others who may benefit. The self-inflicted loss of our battle buddies and the current suicide rate of those that served is unacceptable. We need your help to better assist those who have protected this great country. Like us on Facebook or visit mohawkoutdoors.com for more information.
I am Southern Kentucky Great Outdoors. I am your Spirit of the Wild, my brother. God bless America. God bless Kentucky. God bless working hard, playing hard American families in the asset column. We are blood brothers.
Thank you, Uncle Ted. We love you, brother. We love what you stand for. We stand for the same kind of thing here on Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors. And I'll tell you what, real quick, before these guys get back to John, we don't do it enough, John, but I want to thank our sponsors, Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center, Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating and Cooling, our titles. Our other sponsors, the Vance Store, you can't beat them, Can-Am, they got everything. Simplicity, they got Skag. Unbelievable family business. I would never, honestly, I wouldn't buy outdoor equipment anywhere else. I'm not saying there's not other people that do a fine job, but that's where I'd go.
Yep.
Outback Steakhouse, Rock Castle Shooting Center, love our Noble Brothers. Line-X Hotline, Line-X Bedliners over there. Roger, Gina, make sure you check them out. Big and J, Long Range Attractants, Swagger Bipods. Couldn't ask for better sponsors. Unbelievable that we get to put their name on our stuff. Timber to Table part of it. And also Mohawk Outdoors, our great friend, Sergeant J.D. Williams, and the outreach they have is unbelievable. Did you see? J.D. made the Beantown paper.
Nice.
I just saw that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. He made the Boston newspaper.
Yep.
Well, guys, jump back in. I don't think I left anybody out there. Appreciate our sponsors very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
We said JD, not Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
There's a difference. Where were we, Josh?
Yeah, we were just talking about some record facts and stats and numbers and crunching them and talk about them. You know, we don't really have any more detailed state-by-state information, but we do have a lot of interesting facts here and record facts more specifically that kind of talk about deer hunting. But before we jump into the deer hunting, I learned today an interesting thing. I've never heard of people hunting jaguars in North America. But apparently, there are, according to Boone and Crockett Records, which is the premier record-keeping club out there, there have been 2 jaguars recorded in the U.S. One was in Texas, and the other was Arizona.
Really?
Which I've never even heard of people hunting jaguars.
No kidding.
But apparently, it's a thing.
I
don't know if it's still a thing. I have not done my research. I don't know if you can still.
We had jaguars in North America.
Yeah, well, apparently 2 of them have been registered that are record book sized. Now, I don't know if they were taken by hunters or if they were found dead, but either way, we have some really, really big jaguars in the States, apparently.
Build that wall.
That's an odd fact.
Build that wall.
Another odd fact, at least I know this used to be a fact. I don't know if it still is, Josh, but at one time, there was a Boone and Crockett record for does.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and they had to hit a certain field dressed weight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Anyway, I never sought after killing a booner doe, but you never know. Maybe I'll get on that one of these days.
That's your claim to fame. The first fact I've got here is pretty interesting. You know, for perspective on how tough it is to hunt and kill mature bucks in certain states. There are 2,480 bucks that are bigger than the Garden State state record.
Wow.
And for those who don't know your state nickety names, that is New Jersey.
Wow.
Another one that we've got here is Maine has more typical whitetails in the books than any other northeastern state. It sets at number 18 overall, but whenever you look at it when you level the playing field like we were talking about earlier on a per square mile of landmass basis, it doesn't even make the top 5.
Wow, really?
That's how much those lists can change. If you just look at the straight records that you find in Boone and Crockett's record book versus looking at every state on a level playing field by doing it on a per square mile of land mass basis.
Exactly. Again, things can get skewed. All that's correct data if you look at it, but if you don't look at the ins and outs of it, like land mass and all that stuff, things can, I don't know, not what they appear. Basically, you know, you really have to kind of delve into it and see for yourself But anyway.
Another interesting state to that point is Texas. Texas, if you just look at the record books, my goodness, Texas is king. Texas is the best, especially in the southern half of the country. But it's not whenever you look at it on a level playing field, on that per square mile of land mass basis that I've said 15 million times already today. It doesn't even crack the top of the list, even not even close.
Yeah.
So
deep in the heart of Texas.
That's right. Another interesting fact, and this one's a northeastern fact, Boone and Crockett bucks have been killed in every Delaware county, all three of them.
All three of them, yeah.
A three-county state. Have you ever done any hunting in the Northeast?
Let's see. Not that I know of. Not that I can think of. I don't believe I have.
Yeah.
Not. Hopefully one day, because I'd love to get up there and hunt, like we were talking about earlier, Josh. Like, I'd like to hunt upstate New York sometime, like the Adirondack, some truly big woods deer. I'd like to experience the Northwoods sometimes.
What about Canada, guys? Is there?
Oh, Canada's an absolute.
Yeah, it's the same way. I've never hunted whitetails in Canada, but I've hunted mule deer up in Alberta, and that was an experience.
I've been to Alberta. That is one cold place.
It is.
Yeah, whitetails in Canada is a bucket list for me, for sure. I'd love to go up there, Saskatchewan, and absolutely.
Another record fact that we've got here, courtesy of Boone and Crockett. Kentucky has 693 typical bucks in the books. Florida has none, but Florida does have 2 non-typical entries, both taken in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, so they don't have a typical record. That's kind of weird. Something else that I think I want to mention real quick that can kind of skew data, and this might pertain to Kentucky as much as any state. Think about how many record book bucks are killed by guys that have zero desire to go to the trouble to record that buck.
That's sad.
I can think of. I don't know. I don't know. I think just like some old school farmers maybe, or whoever that just doesn't care about recognition, doesn't care about this or that,
or people that want to protect their spots.
That's a good point, Josh. But that again, I think Kentucky probably falls into that category as much as any state.
Yeah, for sure. Another fact: all 3 of South Carolina's non-typical entries, that's all they have is 3 non-typical Boone and Crockett entries, originated from western border counties.
What state?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah. Another is when analyzing total BNC entries per square mile, Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi, West Virginia, and Virginia take top honors, which we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a lot of people don't think about the Southeast as being hot destinations, but there's a couple of good states here.
Yep, for sure. And I know you got some other stuff too, but I want to point out, some of these states maybe on paper look like just overall incredibly great states when it comes to Boone and Crockett entries, but maybe they have 4 or 5, 6 counties in that state where the vast majority of those record book bucks are coming from. So again, I would encourage people, if you're just looking at that for a place, for a place to go lease or whatever, I would encourage you to look at a lot more stats and data than just Boone and Crockett entries, because that doesn't tell the whole story.
Absolutely. You got to look at all the different factors, the number of hunters, as you said earlier, the distance. Look at the deer densities. Sometimes, lower deer densities can mean bigger deer.
Absolutely.
Because that means there's just more food to go around.
Absolutely. I would say that rings true the majority of the time. I would take less deer density over higher deer density any day of the week, because like you said, there's more food to go around. And when it comes to the rut, you're going to have a lot more competitive rut when there's fewer deer.
Yeah. Looking at the Midwest owns 3 of the top 5 typical bucks. Alberta, which is the Hanson buck, and Kentucky, the Smith buck, have the other 2. Likewise, the Midwest has 4 of the 5 in the non-typical category. Tennessee, the Tucker buck, currently sits at number 4 overall. Wisconsin has entered 255 more non-typical bucks in the books than Ohio, which is the state with the next highest number of entries.
I don't mean to jump ahead of you, but I want you to mention this. What you were going to say about Montana and the hot spot of Montana.
Yeah, that's actually next on the list. The hot spot for big deer in the Northwest. This is if you ever travel to the Northwest to hunt. If you just dream of killing a western deer, the hot spots, and there's 3 of them for big deer in the Northwest, is western Montana, eastern Washington, and northern Idaho. Those are the 3 top destinations in the West.
And that goes corresponds perfectly. JD's from western Montana. I follow his dad on Facebook, Mr. Jack Williams. He kills a lot of great whitetails in western Montana.
Yeah, for sure. There's only one state in the West, which is Montana, that ranks in the top 20 nationwide when analyzing the total number of record entries in the last 10 years. And not a single northwestern state makes the top 20 list when analyzing total number of entries per square mile of huntable landmass in the past 10 years.
Wow. How many more you got?
We've got 3 more.
All right.
Looking at the southwestern region. South Texas, eastern Colorado, and eastern Oklahoma are the 3 obvious hotbeds, the 3 best spots for Boone and Crockett bucks in the southwest region. And again, for those who didn't hear that, it's South Texas, eastern Colorado, and eastern Oklahoma. Texas and Oklahoma fall at number 10 and 13, respectively, when analyzing the total number of record entries per state, or record entries per square mile in the last 10 years. The other states rake outside the top 20. And then Oklahoma is the only southwestern state that makes the top 20 when analyzing total entries per square mile of huntable land mass in the past 10 years. It ranks number 17.
Gotcha. Got 30 seconds, Webb.
Good stuff, guys. Always great. Next week, I'm going to try to get the female bass world record holder. Caught it in California, 12-pounder. We'll get that done. But G-Man's going to take over. He's got a nice little WKU Hilltopper baseball update. Get ready for the Rock Castle Gun Show. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, Rock Castle Gun Show up next. But to all our listeners out there waiting on WKU baseball, currently conference tournament, they're in Game 2 of what is supposed to be 4 games from Biloxi, Mississippi. The Hilltoppers are scheduled for Game 4. As of right now, it has been pushed back from 7:30 to 9:15. But it could be later, so don't be laughing too much, Brian. I could be here till 2 a.m. Bring out the cot. Stay tuned. We'll have WKU baseball later after the Rock Castle Gun Show coming up next here on ESPN Radio.
J&K Used Cars is the place to go when you need a quality automobile at an affordable price. Stop in at 670 on the bypass in Bowling Green and see this week's special. A 2010 Honda CR-V XL. Local trade comes with sunroof, leather interior, sport wheels, power options, luggage rack, and more for only $7,995. Hurry in because at that price it won't last long. J&K Used Cars, with over 40 years of serving the community with affordable prices on quality automobiles. Visit J&K on the bypass and online at jnkusedcars.com.
This is Nate from Rock Castle Shooting Center. Did you know that one of the premier shooting ranges in the world is right here in South Central Kentucky? Rock Castle Shooting Center has something for everyone's recreational shooting enjoyment. From 3D archery to our brand new sporting clays course, handgun ranges full of steel to targets out to a mile. There's no better place to get some trigger time than Rock Castle Shooting Center. Non-members are welcome, and membership